This is the sequel to my last video on the Vault 76 Overseer. We followed her trail all over Appalachia, where she kindly left behind a number of holotapes. In that video, we learned a lot about the Overseer. She attended and graduated from Vault Tech University in Morgantown. The love of her life was a man named Evan, who lived in Welch. We even had to put down the scorched remains of Evan, because the Overseer didn't have it in her. When we last heard from her, she was recovering from a mole miner attack at the mountainside bed and breakfast. Her last holotape left things kind of ambiguous.
Overseer's log. Somewhere in the mountains. Oh, not good. Not good. Not good. Just trying to focus. But the pain is unreal. So bad. Want to do this now while I can. I'm afraid I might pass out. Was attacked. Some kind of... I think it was wearing a gas mask, a heavy coat, but not human. Not human. No stim packs left. Funny joke in here about practicing what you preach. This is the Overseer. Signing off. Hopefully not for the last time.
She said that she thought she might pass out. She was out of stim packs. But even though this holotape was surrounded by blood, we never found her corpse. We finally hear from her a year later. If our character is over level 20, we pick up a new radio signal on our Pip-Boy the next time we log into the game. However, we only pick up this radio signal on a new character after completing the Wayward quests.
Broadcasting to the people of Vault 76. This is the Overseer. We need to talk, face to face. I've missed all of you, but this isn't just about a reunion. We have work to do. I'll be waiting in Sutton.
If we have a new character, we begin the quest, New Arrivals. The Overseer needs your help. However, if our character is over level 20 and has collected all of the Overseer's other holotapes, we continue with the Overseer's mission. Either way, we now know where she went, to Sutton. And heading to Sutton, we discover a brand new building that shows signs of habitation. It's on the eastern mountainside overlooking Sutton. This is the Overseer's home. And as soon as we walk through the door...
Oh, thank God you're here. It's just so good to see you. Let's talk downstairs. Cozy as this place is, there's someone I'd like you to meet. We really went overboard with this place. Feel free to look around.
It's the Overseer, and she's okay. With that, she goes to the nearby wall-mounted terminal and opens a door leading to the basement. Following her downstairs, she heads into a caged-off room in her basement. And here we find a Mr. Handy named Davenport.
Let me introduce you to Davenport. He's been helping me with some reconnaissance, keeping an eye on Appalachia.
Oh, so good to meet you. The Overseer has been so excited to see everyone again. Once you've acquainted yourself with our new arrivals, I may have some field work for you.
I couldn't have pulled this place off without him. Let's talk.
If our character is not yet level 20, when we try to talk with her...
I know you have questions, and we'll get to them. I have an important mission. But you're just not ready. It's too dangerous. I can't in good conscience send you on it. You need to get better gear, and sadly, better real-world training than we provided in the vault. Go to Flatwoods. The responders had a volunteer program that I know I found helpful.
she points us to Flatwoods, where we begin the original primary quest of Fallout 76. If we're above level 20...
Pretty crazy out there, huh? I know we have a lot to catch up on. But first, I have to ask, did you finish the inoculation against the Scorched plague? Please, it's vitally important.
She is referring to the inoculation that we developed at the AVR Medical Center during the primary quest to the game. This inoculation is essential to making sure people can no longer be turned into Scorched. After all, the Scorched beasts are still out there. If humanity's gonna retake Appalachia, we've all got to become inoculated. Now, I'm only going through this with 2 characters, and I'm not going to be able to get every dialogue option, but I'll record and include as many as I can. We can say, everything after leaving the vault has been insane. Vault-Tec never prepared us for this.
I know. Believe me, I know. But we can't focus on what other people could have done. We have to focus on us, our future.
Or we can say, you're lucky I'm even here. Don't start making demands.
I'm not... I'm trying to make sure you're okay. That's my #1 priority right now. For all of you. So please, you need to tell me, is the inoculation finished?
Duchess told me where you were.
The bar owner? Wasn't easy hauling them all the way to AVR Medical. And boy, do they love talking. I've got some plans to make this whole thing easier, but we need to get you taken care of first. So, did you finish it? The inoculation?
Or we can answer her question, and so we can say yes, the inoculation is done.
Good, because we're gonna need a lot more of it. Have you been to the mountains lately? It's not just us anymore. People from outside Appalachia are coming in. I snuck around 2 of the larger groups and saw them both building. Walls, housing, defensive positions. They're coming to stay. Each and every one of them is walking into a medical crisis they don't even know about.
Why are they coming? Why now?
I don't know if you've been following the rumors, but there's something in the mountains. No one's managed to get into it yet, but one thing's for certain. It's a vault. I eavesdropped on some of the newcomers, and whatever is inside there has gone from speculative guesses to full-blown fantasy. Stories of untold riches would draw groups of people even before we turn the world into a wasteland. Hope and greed are powerful motivators.
We can pass a perception check of 4+ to say, I can tell you have a theory about this vault. Don't keep me in suspense.
I don't want to lead us down the wrong track, but I've got my suspicions. The gold people are finding in the rivers can't be a coincidence. But first, we need to make sure the newcomers don't get infected.
Who cares? They aren't from 76. They're not our problem.
Not our problem? Did you lose your eyesight in the vault? Look around. If those people become Scorched, we're all as good as dead. Talk to these newcomers. Get them to accept our help. I'll work on finding a way to make enough of the inoculation for all of them.
I'll make contact with the newcomers. I'll get them inoculated.
I knew I could count on you. I'll work on finding a way to make enough of the inoculation for everyone. You just get them all to agree.
Why not just take everyone to AVR Medical?
We can't rely on that old hospital holding out indefinitely. There's only one machine. It's a dangerous location. The list goes on.
What do we know about the newcomers?
Judging by the architecture, the ones to the north are the old Raider pals that crazy robot Rose keeps going on about. You might, need to talk to her about them. See if she can arrange a meeting or whatever their word is for we need to talk, don't shoot us. The ones to the south look more like a caravan of families, but who knows what they've been through. Don't let your guard down around either of them.
This reminds me of the Vault-Tec training. Do you remember the How to Make Friends movies?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the official title. You'd think it'd be burned in my head with how many times I played that for everyone. The reality is a little different, though, isn't it? Prepare for the future.
If you're so worried, you should go yourself instead of pawning it off on me.
Do you think I like sending you into harm's way? I don't. But we have to lean on each other. I need you, all of you, to do your part. Anyway, I'm sure you must have other questions. We can talk about them now if you want. Or if you're ready to head out, just be careful out there.
With that, we begin the Foundation quest, Here to Stay. Strangers to Appalachia, coming to stay. And we begin the Crater quest, Strange Bedfellows. The Raiders of Appalachia have returned. We can choose to start either one, but first, let's catch up with the Overseer.
Something on your mind?
I had some questions about the Overseer logs you left behind.
Sometimes I honestly thought they'd be the last things I'd get to say to everyone.
The holotape about the nukes, do you really think Vault-Tec planned for us to use them?
That's just it. I don't know. I thought they had let me into their plans, that we were special. But now I'm wondering if we were all just one big experiment to them. Just like everyone else. And what happens once there's more nukes landing on Appalachia than she can take?
I'm sorry the nukes were used. We were just trying to defeat the Scorched.
I know. You did what you were asked. And so did I. But now we need to think for ourselves more. Build the America and the Appalachia we want.
I think I found all of your logs. Did you want them?
Well, let me see. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think that's everything. It's been a long journey, hasn't it? For both of us. Appalachia has changed. We've changed.
Thank you, Overseer. These holotapes helped me survive.
You're welcome. I'm just glad I can be here in person now.
I found Evan. It's taken care of.
Thank you.
Knowing that the Overseer chose to go into the vault and leave Evan to the apocalypse, we can say, why did you do it? You knew he was going to die.
The real question is, how do you live with yourself, knowing that's what you've done? Honestly, you worry and hope and bargain and wish it's not true. And then one day you wake up, and it just doesn't bother you anymore. You've blinded yourself, so you can keep going.
After the vault opened, you disappeared. Where were you all this time?
Pretty hypocritical for me, of all people, to take off on my own, huh? Oh. At first, I was just racing ahead, hoping that if there was any trouble, I'd hit it first. And then there were the nukes, the Scorched plague. Seeing my old neighborhood bombed to pieces, I needed time.
You abandoned us because you needed time? Bullcrap!
Abandoned you? Do you have any idea how hard it was to walk out that vault door on my own? Knowing I might not see any of you ever again, breaking Vault-Tec protocol to leave behind my camp, the holotapes, the care packages, all with the vague hope that they might keep you all safe. I've never stopped being your overseer. Never.
I am just glad you're here now.
Me too.
Why settle here in Sutton?
I grew up here. My parents used to live just down the hill. If there's one neighborhood I'm rebuilding first, it's this one.
I've got to go.
Stay careful out there. Together we've made Appalachia safer. But she still has fangs.
And if we turned in all of the Overseer's holotapes, we complete the Overseer's mission. And at last, we get rid of all of those holotapes from our inventory. Turning to the robot, we can have a chat with Davenport.
It seems as if more people arrive in Appalachia every day. This is very encouraging. I'm always delighted to see a resident of Vault 76. Well, former resident. Let me tell you, it's quite a job keeping track of all the comings and goings here in Appalachia.
Now, Davenport will become a useful robot later on, but at this point in the quest, he doesn't really do much. So we'll have to come back and talk to him later. The Overseer has a bit of a command center here. She's got a map of Appalachia on the wall, a chalkboard, a computer console, and a little bit of scrap lying around. We can scrap on up using the Tinkerer's workbench here. But that's really about it for her basement. Heading upstairs, we can explore the primary level of her house. She has a small dining room right next to a small kitchen. There's a Nuka-Cola cherry on the ground and cooking supplies on the kitchen counter. We see that she was watching a slideshow of some of her own fondest memories. We see Vault-Tec University, the interior of Vault 76, including her overseer's office. Looks like she was just sitting here reminiscing when we walked in. Heading towards the staircase, the door to the south just leads to a small bathroom. Vault-Tec calendar on the wall, of course. Heading upstairs, we find some modern art and displays in the corridor. Looks like she has a small collection of robots and cars. Behind us, we find her bedroom. And interesting wall art here, Overseer. She has a skeletal one-locked footlocker on the ground, a TV on a table at the foot of her bed, which is odd since it doesn't work post-apocalypse, a bookshelf, and on her bed, an imported Chinese panda bear. Moving out of her bedroom, we find a vanity in a really weird spot. And then in the hallway, we find two doors. The door to the right leads back outside to Appalachia. This puts us behind her house where we find a fusion generator. Can't take the fusion core, sadly. There are a couple of containers out here. Heading back inside, we can explore that final room. Right next to it is the bust of a guy. It's not labeled. Not exactly sure who this is. But opening the door leads to her private office. And here we find many of the things she has collected along the way. Remember, just like us, she went to Camp McClintock and joined the U.S. military. Went to Allegheny and became a U.S. general. So she's got military fatigues and a helmet, Vault-Tec University pennant on the wall, a display case with some of her fire breather gear, and a mining helmet and pick to remind her of Evan. There's a miniature Vault-Tec statue in a display case, and then we find her original Vault suit and Vault 76 party hat proudly on display. On her desk is an accordion. Oh, so our Overseer is a bit of a musician. Now, we've got two quests. To complete the quest New Arrivals, we have to complete Here to Stay and Strange Bedfellows. And we can do either of these two quests in any order. We'll start with Here to Stay, and that means inoculating the settlers at Foundation. Foundation is a brand new city at what was once Spruce Knob. Before Wastelanders, Spruce Knob was a workshop, but settlers have moved in and completely fortified the place, erecting a huge log wall all the way around it and reinforcing it with metal. We find guards walking all over the place and a number of huts. We even find children and families here. We'll have to explore Foundation and talk with every character and read every note in a dedicated video. But right now, let's stick to the quest. By talking with the people of Foundation, we learn that the leader of Foundation is in an underground headquarters that we can access by taking an elevator in the middle of the town. This elevator leads to the Founders Hall, and here we'll find Paige's office. Looks like this Paige must be the leader of the settlers. We arrive in a large earthen chamber. We see mist hovering before us, and nearby we find a number of pre-war industrial structures that have been turned into offices. There are settlers wandering around, but heading through the restricted access door, we find the leader of this ragtag band of settlers, Paige.
Sometimes I look around and I'm amazed at what we've built here. Well, this is a little awkward. You're from one of the local vaults, right? Hope you don't mind us settling in your neighborhood, 'cause we're already kinda here. And if you want to kick us out, then the answer's no. If the walls weren't already kind of a statement to that effect.
Where did you all come from?
Here and there, this way and that. You understand what I'm saying? There'll be time for swapping stories when the job here is done. But let's just say we like building things. There's a security to it, you know? Foundation's just the start.
Just remember that Vault 76 was here first. We're keeping an eye on you.
Yeah? We'll be doing the same.
Or we can say, Appalachia is big. Plenty of room for all of us.
Nice to know I'm dealing with a reasonable person. Never know what kind of morons we'll stumble across out here.
The important thing right now is getting you inoculated against the Scorched plague.
Inoculated? This some kind of a scare tactic?
It's real. It burns people up, makes them crazy.
Huh? That might just explain a few things. But you're saying it's an infection. All my people are at risk?
You haven't seen the Scorched running around?
You mean those crazies with the torch skin? Those aren't just burn victims? You're saying it's from a disease? Thanks for the warning, but, you know, if I was a local on a campaign to keep people out of my neighborhood, I might say a few things too. I'll tell you what. One of my own is a doctor, Aubrey. I sent him ahead to start up an observation camp, get the lay of things. You talk to him about this. If he's convinced, then I'm convinced too. Deal?
Okay, so we gotta convince this guy. Well, where is this camp? How many people?
South of here. Aubrey and a few hunters. About 5 people.
All right, I'll check with Aubrey. Then you all get inoculated.
Assuming he agrees with you about this disease, then we'll hear you out.
Before heading off to find Aubrey, we can learn more about the settlers here at Foundation by talking with Paige again.
I'm kind of busy here. Make it quick.
What do you do around here?
Well, I oversee all the construction. I'm in charge of that much, at least. This place needs to get big and safe fast. Sometimes people need a little nudge, or a little encouragement, or sometimes just a swift kick in the pants. That's where I come in.
What's everyone working on in Foundation right now?
Plumbing. Water is a big deal. Gotta bring it in, clean it up, distribute it, then take it away and dispose of it. You can always tell a well-run town by the quality of its plumbing and water.
What can you tell me about everyone?
There's not too much to tell. Everyone does what they can around here. Even Davy lends a hand. That's not to say we expect him to be self-sufficient, of course. He's a kid.
See you later.
We can always use more hands.
This basement level to Foundation is pretty expansive. Lots of little huts and floating pods, and a number of people to talk with. We find the plumbing that Paige was talking about in the middle of this chamber, and big pools of turquoise water. But as I said earlier, I want to dedicate a special episode to exploring all of Foundation, so for now, we'll continue with the quest. The location Paige gave us is just southwest of Foundation. Heading that way, we eventually see the Foundation flag in the distance, but when we get there, we find Scorched. With the Scorched dead, we can look around and we see that this campsite was the site of a battle. We find bodies littering the ground, surrounded by a few Scorched bodies as well. Examining one of the bodies, the man and the Scorched were clearly fighting before both died. We can examine the scene. The scrambled footprints suggest that the settlers were surprised. They didn't have time to put up defensive positions or run away. Near to another tent, we find another dead body. This person died of fatal wounds. We can examine the body. Although the wounds were fatal, this person was receiving medical attention. Perhaps not everyone was killed. We count the beds and realize that there are 5 beds, but only 4 human bodies. So someone survived. Perhaps someone who had medical knowledge. Examining the 3rd body, this person's wounds were quite severe. We could pass a luck check of 8 to search the body for clues, but I couldn't pass this check on my character, so instead we'll examine the body. A quick inspection of the body shows several large lacerations. This one must have been attacked by a Scorched beast directly. And we find the 4th and final body in the last tent, a victim of the Scorched attack. We can examine the body, or we can pass a perception check of 8+ to search under the body. Someone was trying to give this person medical attention before a Scorched attacked. We were able to recover some stim packs that were left for the victim. We notice a trail of footprints leading northeast. Perhaps Aubrey is still alive. After discovering this final clue, we get attacked by another wave of Scorched. Inside the tent, we find a first aid kit, a map on a table, and a lunch pail. Inside another tent, we find a footlocker, an ammo box, a duffel bag, and a weapons workbench. Nearby is a dead Brahmin, and next to this is a giant Scorched beast corpse. So the settlers managed to kill a Scorched beast before being overwhelmed by the Scorched. They left in a hurry. The battered Foundation flag still flies proudly, but the tracks lead off to the northeast. Following them through the woods, we eventually arrive at a cave entrance. A cave that's been fortified. We find a steel door and a lantern. There's a wheelbarrow with rocks outside. Perhaps this was part of a mine shaft. Heading inside, we find the place lit with strung lights, and we find Aubrey.
Stay back! You with those things? Huh? Answer me!
We find a number of options. We can say, Paige sent me.
He did? Never seen you before. You one of the locals? You got a hell of a welcoming party here, you know that?
Or those things? You mean the Scorched?
Is that what they're called? You a local? No offense, but your neighborhood is seriously messed up.
Or we can pass a charisma check of 4 to say, I'm a friend. I'm not gonna hurt you.
All right. Just don't start yelling about the one or anything crazy like that. They hit us out of nowhere. Screams, gunshots, the sound of Kip getting his head caved in. God, I don't know how long I've been here. I guess I was just hoping it was all a nightmare, you know?
Here we can make one of 2 choices that affect Aubrey's fate. We can say, you better stay here. You might be infected.
Wait, you're saying a disease made those things? What's a transmission? Airborne? Direct contact? They never touch me, I swear.
We find a number of options, and I was only able to choose one. So we'll pass a charisma check of 4 to say, you want to take that chance? You might get everyone else sick. Then they're as good as dead.
You're right. As a doctor, it'd be irresponsible of me to head back. Just let them know what happened, okay? This disease, don't let it infect Foundation.
With that, Aubrey stays here in the cave. But we can at least head back to Paige to tell him that Aubrey's alive. Or, since we know we're going to be getting these guys inoculated anyway, we can say, it's all over now. You're safe.
Thanks. Yeah. I just needed to see a friendly face. I thought I'd be trapped here for the long haul. I don't have much to repay you. Well, I don't have anything at all, but if there's anything you need, just let me know.
The Scorched carry a disease. I need to convince Paige it's dangerous.
Those things are caused by infection? If that's the case, Paige needs to know as soon as possible. Any disease that can claim a human mind and turn us against ourselves is a major threat. How is it spread? And what's the incubation period? The symptoms? Is there a treatment?
We can pass an intelligence check of 4+ to say, it's spread by direct contact, possibly droplets. Incubation is unknown, but there is an inoculation.
Thank God for that. If there's an inoculation, we need to get that to Foundation yesterday. This disease of yours is no joke.
All right, you can head home.
Thanks again. I'll be damn sure to avoid those things on my way back.
With that, Aubrey hobbles away. We can take a look at his little cave here. There's a tinkerer's workbench nearby, a Nuka-Cola cherry, a little bit of scrap lying about, a double-barrel shotgun on the floor in the corner, and a cooler next to some brain fungus. That's about it. Heading back to Foundation, we can take the elevator down and check in with Paige.
You find Aubrey's camp? Should be him and about 4 or 5 others.
The responses we have available here are different depending on the choices we made in the cave. If we convinced Aubrey to stay in the cave, we can either lie to say that everyone died, or we can say that they were all infected or dead, even Aubrey.
What? They're those things now? Jesus. We shouldn't have sent them alone.
Or, if we told Aubrey that it was safe to come back to Foundation, we could say Aubrey was the only survivor and backed me up. He should be here soon.
Damn it. Looks like I'll be paying a few families a visit soon. All right. If Aubrey's behind you, so am I. I'll get the details from him when he gets back. If you need to resupply, you should give Sonny a visit. Hell, after that ordeal, if you see a free bed in the boarding house, rest up. For now, you just hold up your end of the deal and get us that inoculation.
With that, we complete the quest. Here to stay. If we convinced Aubrey to stay in the cave, he stays in the cave. But if we told him it was safe to come back, eventually, we find him manning a doctor's office right next to Paige's office. We can head inside to say hi.
Hey, thanks for helping me out back there. I talked to Paige about this plague of yours and made sure he takes this inoculation seriously. Here's my health tip for you. Eat lots of chocolate. No, seriously. It's good for your heart, but more importantly, diets are overrated.
But he doesn't actually act as a doctor or a merchant. He's just here, big smiling face. Now, we need to go to Crater to convince the raiders that they need to be inoculated. But sadly, I'm all out of time. We'll pick up right here where we leave off in our next episode. I publish new Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss the next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other items as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members and patrons on Patreon are becoming increasingly important as YouTube continues to make platform changes that make the future of YouTube monetization uncertain. So to all my YouTube members and my patrons on Patreon, you have my sincerest thanks. I couldn't do this without your help. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.